So my dad's sold copiers my whole life. And I've always been big about kind of like making my own way, if you will.
Sure.
And so I had emailed his boss, who's the owner of the company. And I said, hey, I don't want this to be a thing that I'm getting a job because of my dad, but I'm getting married and we have a kid and another one on the way. Working these like little part-time jobs isn't working anymore. I need to establish myself in a career. And he said, well, come down for an interview and, we'll see how it goes. And I was like, okay, cool. So yeah, I went down and interviewed, and I actually had gotten a job at a grocery store that I was supposed to have my first day of work on the day of the interview. So I called the owner of that company the day of my interview and I said, hey, I want to come down and interview, but I'm also supposed to start my first day of work at a new job. So if I come down, I'm forfeiting my opportunity to go work there. And he was like, that's totally up to you, but if you want to come down and interview, let's do it. And it was like a 45-minute drive, so there was just no way to make it work. So I went down and interviewed. I left the interview, and it was like a tough interview. He wasn't...
Wasn't a softball.
It wasn't a softball, and it definitely wasn't... he was clear that he wasn't going to hire me just because my dad had worked there. So I left, and, I did all the interview things, like, when can I expect to hear from you? And if I don't hear from you by then, can I follow up? And on my way home, he called me and said, I don't have a sales job for you, but I have a position where, we can offer you a full-time job. And, it involved a lot of driving. So he's like, we can give you mileage and whatever. And he kind of offered it to me. And I said, sure, I'm happy to start there.